Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Microsoft Flight Simulator, and in today's episode we are reuniting with our old friend the TBM-930 for a nice quick smooth VFR flight back home to Tucson. If you are interested in acquiring any of my Overkills tutorial guides for Microsoft Flight Simulator, please consider joining me on Patreon. Patreon subscribers level tier 2 and above have access to all of my guides, as well as any future updates and future guides that will be coming down the road. Link to Patreon can be found in the description below. All right, my friends, as I said, we're just doing a nice fun flight in the TBM. Just taking it up from Chandler, back on home to Tucson. There it is. I was wondering what's going on there. All right, so let's see what we got here. We're supposed to do our pre-flight check first here. Let's go ahead and close the doors. Lock her up. Let's get rid of the yoke. And let's do our pre-flight check here. So coming back down to the forward instrument panel, we want the air conditioning system set to off during engine start. All anti-ice and pitot heats are off. Parking brake is set. Landing gear handle checked and down. Hot airflow we want down at the floorboard. Pressurization switch is set to off. Manual override should also be disconnected. Primary fuel tank will be the fullest for engine start. Left tank selected. Throttle in the cutoff position, flaps retracted, and alternate static air source pushed in and closed. Coming up top here, we have all landing lights, exterior lights are off. Generator and electrical sources are off. Starter switch set to the off position. Ignition needs to be set to the on position. Auxiliary boost pumps will come on for... Actually, let's leave that off right now. Excuse me. Off, off. Manual selection on the fuel tank. Autopilot trim systems off. Emergency locator transmitter switch in the armed and off position. Alrighty. Okay, so let us begin the fun part. Now we can go upstairs. And we're going to go battery set to on. Generator set to main. Nav lights can now come on. And let's see here. Pulse and strobe lights remain off. Well, we'll use our pulse light as our beacon light. Let everyone know the aircraft's getting ready to do something here. And let's see what else we got here. We have the ignition needs to go to the on position. Auxiliary boost pumps to the on position. And the starter, give that a 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi count. Start the Garmin.
TOS system test. Okay.
Monitoring for 13% on the NG. There it is. Left click that throttle, move it forward into the low cutoff position, or low idle position, low cutoff. And we'll be monitoring that same gauge, looking for 53% on the NG. Let's clear that master caution before it drives us all crazy.
Aural warning, okay.
There's 53%. Holding left click, moving it into high idle, giving right click a tap as well, and that'll bring it over the gate into flight idle. Set our barometric pressure according to air traffic control. Looks like we are holding 299.2 today. Let's double check that with some Shift Z stats because I don't always believe it. What am I missing here? Altimeter 1,240 feet. Yep, we are at 1,240. Okay. It's probably just pulling from the sim, but is what it is. Okay. So, from here, we can now set our air conditioning back as desired. Anti-ice still remains off. Let's do a lights test on the landing gear handle. Check that the gear is truly down secure. Flashing green indicates yes. Hot airflow set as desired. Pressurization to max diff or auto. Auto is going to be the most comfortable for yourself and your passengers, while max diff will pressurize the aircraft the most rapidly. But again, could cause some discomfort. Alright, and let's see here. Setting up our autopilot system. We're good there. Don't need anything fancy today. We'll line up with the runway when we're ready to go. We're just doing VFR. Alright, let's come down here, set up our speed bugs. Alright, so we have 95 knots is what I'm looking for rotation today. And we're going to be using best speed. think we're just about ready to go. We also need to set that transponder. Let's come back on down to here. Go to the MFD. Or actually, what, Navcom and radios, excuse me. Transponder. 1200 for VFR. Turn it on for taxi, and we'll go altitude reporting right before takeoff. Alright, and let's see here. We have auxiliary boost pumps. So let's step upstairs here. Auxiliary boost pumps and ignition both go back to the auto position. Fuel tank selection goes to auto. Autopilot trim system goes on. So we can use the autopilot. And we are now ready to roll. We just need to set ourselves up for taxi, and we'll be clear to get out of here. Alright, my flying buddies. Let's do this. So let's see here. You know what, though? I'm not very familiar with Chandler. What's our winds at? What did I say? I checked that earlier, didn't I? Let's find out. Oh, 221 at 2 knots today. So let's see here. 221. So we're going to be coming out from over there. All right. Well, let's stop chatting and do it. Taxi light comes to on. It's so weird looking up from here. There we go. Taxi light on. Parking brake released. Let's make sure rudder pedals are responding. Flight controls free and clear. Good. All right. Let's see if we can do it and run over the tow bar at the same time. Ooh, mama. Been a while since we've flown together, hasn't it? Now, I typically just use the TBM for much longer flights, but honestly, I just kind of missed it. Didn't really feel like going anywhere far today. Initially, I was just going to fly. I wasn't even going to do a video. And then I'm like, you know, what the hell? Why not? Like, either some of you will enjoy watching a boring TBM-930 VFR flight, or you won't. No harm either way. But that's what our beautiful flight sim community is all about, right? Flying to fly. I don't do that very often anymore, honestly. I always have, oops, too much left brake. I always have a purpose, a video, tool to show off, which, by the way, I've got a couple more tools to show off besides me. I already know I'm the biggest tool that you guys could watch, but still. I love how quickly the TBM taxis. I'm actually wondering if I should be down in high idle or low idle during taxi. You know, I didn't even think that. I don't think so. I think the POH still has you go into flight idle before takeoff. Uh-oh. You know what I just did? I am currently heading 220, which is the direction the winds are coming from. So, it looks like we are doing... Well, goodness gracious. You know, it's only a 2-knot tailwind. I think we'll be fine. But I meant to do a headwind. We'll just contact tower and... Whoa! What the hell is that? Way to go, Microsoft Flight Simulator. Goodness gracious, man. I cannot tell you how many airports I see things like that. Denver's got one, man, where you're on the taxiway and you're sitting there and you're just rolling like we are now, and then the whole aircraft will damn near flip on you. It's crazy. All right, let's taxi over to Delta here. Come on. Alright, and we'll hold ourselves here for just a minute. Got a couple things we got to do for housekeeping. So first we're going to come back into our transponder, make sure we get that set for altitude reporting before we take off. We're good to go there. Come up top, make sure that strobe light comes to life and landing lights come to life, releasing the brakes. Pushing us forward a little bit here. Again, we are doing a cross or a tailwind takeoff. That's the way it goes sometimes. And then finally, as we're coming up on the runway, let's get those pitot heats going. As well as, oh, epic fail. Inertial separator. It absolutely should have been on at the time we started taxi. So for those of you who don't know, the inertial separator's responsibility is to keep debris and FOD, or foreign object debris, out of the intake. So anytime you begin moving the aircraft down at low altitude, so basically landing, icing conditions, you know, heavy clouds, things like that, anywhere where there might be some debris or ice, you know, that could get sucked up into the intake. And then obviously taxi and takeoff, you want the inertial separator turned on. So epic fail on my part. I should not have moved this aircraft with it turned off, but oh well, been a minute, I told you. All right, and there's the inertial separator master caution. Just go ahead and clear that and we'll continue onward. Takeoff power set. Airspeed alive. Looking for 95 knots for rotation. A little bit of downward pressure on the nose. And up she comes. Positive rate, gear up. Looking for climb out for 124 knots. We're not going too high today. We're going to be going for about 5,000. Keeps us clear of all obstacles. Just taking a nice little scenic route up. Alright, passing 120 knots, flaps up. Start trimming nose high. Getting a little fast. Faster than what we're looking for. This thing, man, right conditions, TBM will climb like a bullet. Somebody asked me recently why the TBM is my favorite, or why do I love flying the TBM so much. And it's like a sports car with all your luxury features, but at the same token, not as complex as one of the big airliners. It's more hands-on, but not enough where, you know, it's too busy. It's a great plane to fly when you just want to fly, when you just want to sort of chill. It's a wonderful aircraft. Always enjoyed flying this one since the day we got it. $4,600. I'm going to start pulling some power off here. Start leveling out our ascent. Easy, girl. Start trimming that nose back down. We could also clear the inertial separator now. 5,000 feet, we should be clear of any concerns. We've got clear skies out in front of us. And the nice thing about that is we'll gain quite a bit of power back. I'm going to be looking for about 85% on the engine power. Keep the flight nice and fun. Oh, got ahead of me. Now look away for just a minute. I guess we're going to 6,000. Like I said, this is VFR. We got free reign, right? If only. Nope, I would have just gotten popped for busting my altitude. My flight plan was filed for 5,000. So after looking at things that actually worked out, I decided to take us up to about 7,000. Figured that'd work a little bit better. Keeps us way out of range of anybody else. And now we're going to start coming south. Yaw dampers can come on. And we're just flying manually right now. She just, I mean, look at this. It's just steady as a rock. It's like flying a fighter. As I say that, we start climbing. I love it. I'm not sure what airport that is. It doesn't... I don't think that's Sky Harbor. Nah, that can't be Sky Harbor. Doesn't even look right. It's a really awesome livery. I like the livery of this aircraft here. All right. Got to 7,000. Thank you. All right. So now let's go ahead and lock in our heading. Go heading mode active. Let's lock in our altitude and autopilot on. We'll just let her fly for a little while. It's not going to take us very long at all to get to Tucson. Cruising at about 200 knots. But it is a beautiful, beautiful day. And it really is too. It's a gorgeous day. My only gripe about today's weather is the wind. I am so sick of the wind. But at the same token, I always hate the wind. Like that's just me. I think I drive my wife and daughter nuts because I'm always complaining. And the biggest reason, you guys want to know the biggest reason why I hate the wind? Because I can't wash my car. I'm like one of those nuts who finds it therapeutic to wash my vehicle. And when I say I wash my car, I mean, I'm talking, you might see me about 4 hours later. It's pretty ridiculous. Even I will admit that. What do we got out there? I always found how the little farm plots and grass plots are just these perfect squares. I mean, look out there, it's like a checkerboard. Isn't that crazy? And you never really process that when you're down on the ground. You know, when you're driving around town, you never, I don't know, maybe some people do. I don't. Never really think about how squared off everything is. It's a nice, pretty day, though. Well, we've got 57 miles here, approximately. I'll call it about 40 miles. All right, let's see where we're at. I think that's about 40 miles. If I did my timing right. Why can't I move? Oh, because I'm not on the MFD. There we go. Pick the right screen, dork. Why are my airports not showing up? All right, well, there's Davis Monthan right there, so we're coming right at it. Tucson International is going to be right next to it. So, yeah, we got about, it was 80 miles to go, so about 40 miles to my next leg, if I did my math right here. So, I'll see you guys in just a few minutes here. We got a little bit of a break here, so I'll let you guys enjoy the view for a second, and then I'll come back with y'all. All right, well, I had a previous segment to this, and then it dawned on me that the microphone was muted the entire time. Go me! Let's get my landing light turned on back on. We're coming down to about 4,000. Oh, gosh darn it. Get up there. Thank you. Coming down to 4,000 here. Nice scenic altitude. Let's pull some power back in. The problem with VFR in a flight simulator, I think my biggest issue... Oh, hang on, tapping on something here. There we go. I think my biggest issue with flying VFR is, I mean, obviously you want to keep your eyes out the window, but you can't feel what the plane is doing. So I think that's my biggest problem. I have the hardest time maintaining altitude when flying VFR in the sim. And it's because I want to look around, you know? I want to be looking around, but then I can't. You know, I end up paying so much attention to the gauges, watching my altitude, watching my ascent rate, descent rate, etc., that I miss so much of it. downtown Tucson coming up. Whoa, that was weird. Whoa! What the heck was that? That was terrifying. I'm not sure what happened there. So let's see here. Winds are 329 at 8 knots, so we're going to be coming in at runway 29 right today. We're going to start looking for 3,500 feet for pattern altitude. Actually be about 3,000 feet, excuse me, 3,200. Start pulling some power off, we can go flaps 1. We're looking for 85 knots as our approach speed. Should be coming past A Mountain. There it is. Try to make it so you guys can see it. There it is, A Mountain. Every couple years, Phoenix guys will come down and paint the damn A a weird color. I think we used to go up and do it to them. I don't know if it happens so much anymore now, but it used to happen pretty frequently, especially during sporting events. Because you got the University of Arizona just behind us, off our left wing there. There's Davis-Monthan. And there's Tucson International. And let's get that inertial separator turned back on. Gosh darn it. That's the problem with mouse point and click. Gained more altitude than I wanted. Clear that master caution. Looking good on the distance there. We're going to try to do a short approach here is why I'm trying to be already configured here. Okay, that one was me kicking the rudder pedal. Don't worry about that one. do this. Try to get 85 knots before we turn around. Keep it tight. Keep it tight. Little high. A lot of high. There's my space shuttle approach, getting really fast, going 0 on the throttle for a minute.
500.
Eyes up. Bleed off some of that air. Come on, baby. Get your butt down. Butter. Little long-winded, but butter nonetheless. And we're going to taxi all the way down to the end just about. Use that roll to get us out of here. Park at the executive terminal over by the old tower there off our right. I know. I should have exited the runway. I know, but we're gonna pretend that we got permission to use the runway as our fast taxi here. The beauty of simulation is they'll tell you anything you want to hear in a simulator, right? Alright, there we go. Let's start powering off here. Flaps up. Stop the aircraft here for a minute. Let's go to our radios. Transponder. Back to on. Oh, come on. Nose wheel light back to taxi. Strobe light turns off. And I think we're clear. I think we're good everywhere else. Pitot heats can come off. I think there's something wrong with his wheels. All right, set that parking brake, and let us begin our shutdown process here. So let's see here. Parking brake set. That is clear. Autopilot system is good. Oh, taxi light can now turn off. Let it throttle down. All right, beautiful day. Pressurization switch is off. Landing gear handle down and locked. Hot airflow as desired. Parking brake set. We can set the aircraft up for the next flight here. Air conditioning system off as well. Throttle in cutoff, override off, flaps retracted, static air push it in closed. Going back up top. All right, and we want autopilot systems off. Auxiliary boost pumps off, ignition set to off. Crash bar down. And we have a cold and dark aircraft. Well, my friends, I truly hope you guys enjoyed this flight. I certainly did. I'm really glad that I did this. It's fun to just get up and fly the TBM. Even in VFR, she's an absolute blast to fly. She just offers so much. It really does offer a lot, and I highly recommend that you guys fly it if you haven't gotten used to it. Feel free to check out my Patreon set, guys. There's a TBM-930 G3000 PDF guide that walks you through a complete full flight using IFR rules. So hopefully you guys can enjoy that if you haven't already. And other than that, I hope you guys all have a safe and healthy week. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.